Wondering how you can become better at running your business? Entrepreneurship can be stressful. There's too much to do and not enough time. If you're isolated in your daily decisions, have no fear. Success and balance are possible. Welcome to the Small Business Answer Man podcast, where you master the art of running a successful business using practical advice from experts who want to help you succeed. Now, here's your host, Gary Wilbers.
Welcome. We're glad to have you back. I told you second quarter's here and it's going to go fast just like that first quarter did. And we've been talking this quarter about the 6P business owner formula. And my 6 Ps are people, promotion, pricing, productivity, profit, and processes. And today we're going to get in some of that pricing, which really includes the sales and how can we improve our sales of our business. So our guest with us today is Simon. And Simon, can you share with them what problem are you going to solve for our listeners today?
Hey, Gary. Hey, everybody. The problem that we solve is time and money. When you run a business, especially a small business, you are doing too much. And so you never have time. And if you don't have time, now you end up just solving your client's problems. But who solves yours? You have never time to solve your own problems. So when do you work on improving form, fit, and function of your sales, improving form, fit, and function of your marketing, improving how you can charge higher prices for the same offer, improving your positioning, your branding? These are all things that you say, yeah, let me do that later. So the first problem that we solve for small business owners is we free up 10 to 14 hours of their time so that per week, so that they can work now on improving sales. So on working on the business, not just in the business.
This is going to be a great conversation because it's a big struggle that small business owners and entrepreneurs have. So today we've got Simon Severino. He helps business owners discover how to be able to run their company more efficiently, which results in sales that soar. He created the strategy sprints method that doubles revenues in 90 days by getting owners out of the weeds. Simon is the CEO and founder of Strategy Sprints, which is a global team of certified strategy sprint coaches, which offers a customized strategy to help clients gain market share and work in the weekly sprints, which results in fast execution. He is also a Forbes Business Council member, a contributor to Entrepreneur Magazine, and a member of Duke Corporate Education. We are so great to have you, Simon. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start from the basics because you really set it up nicely of what we want to try to do today in the podcast. But why don't you give a little bit of your background? We said a few things there, what you're doing in the business, but how you kind of became this consultant to business, because we always like to know, okay, how did they just give themselves this title, or how did they come about that? So would you share a little bit of your backstory with us?
21 years ago, I did fall in love with the question of go-to-market. How do you enter a market, crush it in the market, stay competitive, stay in the market, don't let anybody else pull you out of that dominant market position. And I was doing it as an employee, a strategy advisor for one of the big strategy advisories. So I would fly to the boards of all the brands that you know, to their city, to their headquarters, and brainstorm how can we increase competitive advantage? How can we bring a new product to an existing market? Or how can we get deeper into an existing market by expanding our portfolio in there? So all market related questions. And I love them because they're highly emotional. You have to understand the client. You need to get psychology right, because you have to understand what do they need and how do they want it and will they take it. So then you have to go to rapid testing, which I also am passionate about. How can you test things quick and cheap and fast and in parallel, multiple experiments, and so that you learn more about the market that you are in. And because the more you learn, the more you know, the more competitive you are. And so I did fall in love with that, and I started having the honor, having great bosses, great teams, and I was an employee. Then later on, I started my own company, Strategy Sprints, And I was the bottleneck. Then I fired myself from operations. I started hiring people. And then it became a certification model. I now teach my strategy sprints certified coaches how to do the things. And I supervise them. And I'm now responsible for growth and for talking on podcasts and all this fancy stuff.
Well, great. We're glad to have you. And see, the thing is, you found a problem within yourself. You had some experience in that, but you found out that bottleneck. And a lot of business owners struggle in this area. I just was meeting with one yesterday, and bottleneck is not the word, of course, he used, but basically that's what he kind of is in his business right now. And we're working to how can he get out of that? Luckily, he's recognized it and he's willing to do some work to get out of it. So how can we shorten that path to kind of that wow to be able to get moving forward in our business and not be that bottleneck?
Yeah, they don't say bottleneck. You're right. What are the words that we use? Oh, I'm underwater. I don't have the bandwidth. I'm running out of steam.
Too busy.
Too busy. I'm so busy. So, and when you hear those words, what I like to do and what I do myself is I write down, okay, how did I allocate my time today? What did I actually do? 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. What did I actually do? And then I have two questions. So I have a template that I use. And so it asks me two questions, two reflective questions. One is, okay, of all the things that I did today, which one will I delegate tomorrow? Either to a software or to a freelancer or to a colleague. But it's important that you ask yourself every evening, of the things that I did today, which one will I delegate tomorrow? And the second question is, if I would live more freely and more intentionally, what would I do tomorrow? This reminds you of the bigger things that you want to do. Starting a joint venture with a big company, or writing the book about my expertise, something bigger that usually falls between the cracks. So with those two reflective questions, and we have it in the daily flow. People can download the daily flow on strategy sprints if they want a template. With those two reflective questions, and you do this 5 minutes every evening when you close down your day and design the flow of your next day, if you just do that for a couple of days, you will find 1-2 things to delegate. And when you start doing that, that is the work, that is the daily habit of entrepreneurs. Find one thing to delegate. The master delegator is Elon Musk. We can all observe how he does it, right? He starts thinking about rocket ships, how can they land back on Earth. He starts drafting something, then he hands it over to the engineers. They keep doing it. He thinks about AI. He starts with a small team. He hands it over to that team. Now he bought Twitter. He will fly in the AI team, the engineer team, and say, hey, come in. 1 month, you solve this problem here. Then you go back to SpaceX. So why? Because he quickly delegates. So you have to solve the big problem, but as soon as you have solved it, you hand it over. You write down the process, you hand it over, and you move on to the next bigger problem. So if your current problem is client acquisition, the next one is big joint venture partner acquisition, big affiliate partner network. Whatever is the next higher leverage task, you move on to the next higher leverage task. That's the daily habit of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I love that, because that's the thing is, instead of keep doing the same thing, and CEOs and entrepreneurs, business owners, we have to realize we have to delegate. Our job is really the visionary, and like you said, that higher leverage task for our company. And even in small companies now, you can do this with the virtual assistants and which things available. You don't have to be responding to everything in your company. So in your book, Strategy Sprints, we've talked a little bit about that, and I know it's a great book. I haven't got to read it yet, but I plan on picking it up. You say you have 274 templates, and you already mentioned the template that you have that they can download for people you coach. So can you tell us a little bit about the book and what your philosophy was behind the book to help people kind of get started if they really want to make a change? Because it sounds like your book is a great base model of what you do all the time.
Yeah, some people describe the book as their cookbook. So, they have to cook quickly, and you never have time. You cannot study or reinvent French cuisine from scratch, right? You have 15 minutes, you have three things in your fridge. What can I do with that? And so they see the book as that. They open up the chapter marketing and they go directly to the checklist, they do the 8 steps, and then they've done their marketing for the week. They go to the sales chapter, to the hiring chapter, do the same thing. So my idea was, how can I give a practical process with checklists, with swipe copies? Because entrepreneurs don't have time to study every science from scratch. They are in action. They need to take so many decisions every day. What is decision support for them? And so I've created during the pandemic 2 things. One was the cookbook that gives them literally the processes, tools, swipe copies that they need. And they can get quite far with that. And for some of them, they say, no, give me a 101 implementation coach. So I've certified people who do for 90 days 101 implementation coaching of these things. So they get in there, they map out the sales system and improve the sales system in 12 weeks. Every week, 1 slight improvement. So it's quite better after 12 weeks. And that's the second piece that I've been building. It's like Iron Man has Jarvis. The entrepreneur has somebody that they can always tag. It's on their phone and they go, hey, Sprint Coach, should I send this email or that email? Should I really send another email? I just sent 3 days ago one. Should I really send another one? Will they drop out? Or should I rather focus on sales? But that one lead is ghosting me. How do I get back with that lead? And so they work practically, tactically during the week on those things, and they use the processes to save time.
Excellent. We will be right back. We've got this short sponsorship message. Well, that's great. I love what you said there, Simon, about your book, because it really becomes, like you said, the cookbook, something that they can use with very practicality. Then if they need the support, you've got the support with your certified coaches to be able to give them that. But let's talk a little bit about some things that you've seen, because you've worked with clients all over the world, and you've kind of found that there's some CEO habits that people have. And one of the things I'm talking about here, I want people to realize we have to change. And I'm not saying they have to change. We have to, because I'm sure you get challenged with that every day, even though you do this for a living, that we have to be willing to change our behaviors. And I've been talking to my members and people that I coach is, instead of worrying about your people, let's worry about us first, change us, and then we can help change them. So what's some of those CEO habits that you think that people need to have?
We only have in control our own behavior, and we cannot change anybody. If we want others to change, we have to role model that. So the 3 habits that I share with our business owners is daily habit, weekly habit, monthly habit. Daily habit, writing down your time and reflecting those 2 questions. Weekly habit, getting a report about the current week's sales number, the marketing number, and the operations number. So there is one number in a real-time dashboard, one number for marketing. Which one is the most important for you? Many times it's number of new subscribers per week, or opt-ins per week, or downloads from website per week. Sales number is deals closed this week in dollars. And then the ops number can be number of referrals that you got from clients, or number of client referrals, or the satisfaction grade of your clients. For example, an NPS, Net Promoter Score. Are they net happy or not? And those 3 numbers in a simple dashboard, reflected once a week, every Friday, half an hour, looking at those things as a full team, operations, marketing, and sales, looking at that. Even if you are just 3 people, well, then divide yourself into those 3 buckets, because in the end, a business is starting a conversation, that's marketing, intensifying that and getting committed, that's sales, and then delivering what you promised, and that's operations.
Excellent.
That's the weekly habit.
Yeah.
And then there is a monthly habit, which is strategic analysis and rebudgeting. according to where you're winning. So let's say you have 5 top features that you are investing in. And now in 2 of those features, you are winning against your competitors from the client's perspective. In 2 of those, you are meh, and in 1, you are losing against your competitor. So we would say, okay, let's budget accordingly. So let's cut costs and attention in next month's budget from the 1 feature where you're losing. Because if you improve that, you get mediocre. Do you really want to get mediocre? So let's cut it immediately. And let's say we can cut 15% of that month's budget. And we reinvest those 15% into the top 2 features where we are already winning. It's not an assumption that we hope to win. We are currently winning, and we just do 15% more. So imagine you are McDonald's, you have a Big Mac, you are winning with the Big Mac, and now you improve by 15% the efficiency of the delivery of the Big Mac. How quick, how fast, how warm, how good, how cheap. You are unbeatable. You have now a strategic advantage, a strategic differentiation, a good strategic position, and that's what you want to have.
Yeah.
So that's the monthly habit: quick strategic analysis and rebudgeting accordingly.
I love that, because the thing is you're putting your efforts into what's winning versus so many people, what they do is they try to start something else. And, as entrepreneurs, we have to realize we're kind of the squirrel method. We like going to new things, but sometimes it's really like in that strategic analysis. What are we winning at? How could we win even more in that area and with that product or that service that we're offering people? Now, you've got a great book. Go ahead.
And I am exactly that squirrel guy, like most entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I'm good at seeing new opportunities, and then I forget that, hey, we are winning in something. Let's optimize that. And that's why those tools exist. It's not because you should be boring and just doing one thing. It's because you have to canalize your creativity in the things where you are currently winning.
Yeah, I love that. Well, one thing is you got a great website out there, because I've checked it out already, and a lot of great information there for people. But one of the things I saw in there, and I wanted to ask you about this and stuff, you talk about, and maybe it comes down with some of them 3 CEO habits, but I also wanted to see if you had any other suggestions that you can give, how a business can double their business revenue in 90 days. And kind of a rather bold claim, but I can see with some of what you already share, how can people do that?
It's pretty easy. Jay Abraham showed it in the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s, that if you want to double revenue, even with a small business, 3 things increased by 25% will increase revenue by 99% in total. Those 3 things are the sales frequency, the price that you can charge for your same offer, and the conversion rate. So basically the win rate. Out of 10 conversations, you are winning 5 right now. You have a 50% win rate. You can get that up by 25%. You can increase the price by 25% by doing 4 things that we can do in days. It's how you show client testimonials, how you do de-risk the decision for the buyer, and how you map out their journey, their decision journey.
Uh-huh.
And if you do those 3 things, then you can increase the price by 25% without losing clients. And then the third thing is the frequency. Frequency of the sales you can increase by either shortening the sales time, by having strategically relationship building sequences out of emails and videos that we teach our clients how to do, or on the other side, just retaining more of your clients. So more keeping them around. Hey, you came for this specific solution, but now stay for the community, for example. So if you have a retainment offer, you can actually increase the frequency there, and it's easier to close because they know you and like you already. So those 3 things increased by 25%, and we have 90 days to do that. That's 12 weeks, and we just need to nail 3 things. So 12 times the chance just to nail 3 things. That's why we usually succeed in nailing those 3 things, because we have 12 shots at 3 hits.
Well, and that's so important too, and to realize that you don't have to take a year to do it. We've recently had Brian Moran on that wrote the book 12-Week Year. And so many people get in this year concept. Instead, we really need to think in this 90-day concept. When we want to make changes in a company, in 90 days, we should be able to make that change. And the same for CEOs, a perfect time. We're in second quarter now. You can make changes within 90 days for yourself that then you can start rolling out your team in the next 90 days to make that happen. And, it really changes what we really consider luck. And one of the questions I was going to ask you is, some of those tactics that you used to maximize that return on the luck factor, because it's about creating it, and you're sharing with some of the topics there. So what would you say there as tactics, how they can maximize their return on luck?
Yeah, return on luck is a term that was coined by Jim Collins. And I like it because actually it asks the question, why do some teams win and others don't? Why do some teams get lucky and others don't? And part of the answer are those three habits. And part of the answer is what you just said, that you don't have to think about the year. The best teams have stopped thinking about 12 months. They think in months, in weeks, and in long-term vision, and nothing in between. That's the agile way. So you have a North Star. You say, all right, we are going to be the Uber of our field, or the Teslas of our field, and you describe how that is. That's your long-term vision. It's a North Star. And that's wishy-washy, but it gives you that excitement. But then for the next 90 days, you have a very specific plan, and that's broken down into weekly dashboards with 3 numbers, 3 goals, 3 numbers that you measure on a weekly basis. Now, when you do that, you are learning so much, because now you're thinking week to week, week to week, week to week. I ask everybody, what's your monthly profit rate of last month? And they go, oh yeah, my yearly profit. No, don't tell me the year. In 12 months, I hope we have changed your company 3 times. So what's next month? And they go, oh, I don't know, so granular. Make it next month. Make your goal about next month and your slight improvement goals next week. So how can I have 1% more subscribers next week? 1% more closed deals next week? 1% more client referrals next week. Instead of 6 client referrals, how can I have 7 client referrals next week? You do that every week. Those are the teams that have a higher return on luck because they learn more. They cover more ground. They learn more.
Yeah, I love that. I appreciate you sharing that. And as we've got to get close to wrapping up here, because I think I could have this conversation for a long time, because it's really some of the challenge, I'll be honest, I even face in my business, because it's about sales, some good strategies to be able to use there. But I thought maybe where we end it, because we want to always try to leave them with an action item. For yourself, what's one single characteristic, maybe habit or mindset that you think sets successful leaders apart from those that remain average?
I think it's protecting your vision from the temporary volatility. So there is an eternal part and there is a temporary part. If you think eternal, that's who are you here to serve and how do you improve their life, basically. That's the eternal part. Like, we are here to help mothers have a better time management. All right, then that's your mission. That should be eternal. You don't change that every couple of months. And then there is temporary stuff. The temporary stuff is products, pricings, vendors, contracts, even stuff. Everything changes and is temporary, but there is one part that is eternal, who you are here to serve and why you are the best at serving them. And I think it's really important, especially in tough years, it's really important when the market is so volatile and so uncertain that you really ground yourself in your vision and you stay there and you don't make it, you don't let anybody pull yourself out of staying grounded in that vision, because some people will not believe in it, but you don't let that touch you in your core. So you take every feedback and you implement it, but you stay grounded in your belief that you are doing the right thing and that you're the right team to do that. That's quite important. Otherwise, you will be pulled away from your strength, from your power, and you will need that power in some months. Yeah. So what we do with our coachees is there's a specific format how they write down on one page that vision, and then they speak it with a background music as an audio file. And then every morning I have them listen to that 5 minutes audio file. First thing in the morning, vision activation and vision protection exercise. And then they go into their day.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, especially right now, is like you were saying, the markets and the business is changing some. There's still business out there. There's business to go after, but it's not going to come, I'm going to say, as easy as it is in the past. We're going to have to work for it. We've talked about sales. We've talked about you improving, and I think that becomes the key. I know you've got a lot of great information on your website and stuff. Simon, you want to share your website? And I know you've got also for Facebook, Twitter and Instagram you're on, and we'll share all that, have that on show notes too and stuff. Go ahead and give them where they can go get some information about you and about strategy sprints.
Yes, they can find us at strategysprints.com. There are a ton of tools for free. They're open source. They can download them at strategysprints.com. If they want to go even deeper, there's the book Strategy Sprints on Amazon. It's coming out in Chinese soon. If you want to talk to one of our sprint coaches and see if we can help you even implement those things for you in your business, that's also strategysprints.com.
Yeah, and it's a great website, a lot of great information there. So I'd highly recommend you do that. The other thing I would tell you is go get the book. You know, give yourself that cookbook and give yourself some thoughts, because he gives you some of the downloads right there available to you, and really start to think about yourself. What needs to change for you in this second quarter to make you a better boss, CEO, entrepreneur, instead of just always thinking, oh, my team's not performing. Let's look at ourselves first in the mirror and let's make those changes. Simon, I ask every guest this same question, but I'm curious from your standpoint, what's the best business advice you would give to business owners and entrepreneurs?
I'd say turn your fixed costs into variable costs. You want to have, when you have more work, you pay more for your activities, but from the profits, not from the revenues. And when you have less work, you pay less. When you have zero work, you pay zero. That's how you have a resilient business with self-correcting loops, self-adapting, self-healing capacities. And this is what you need so that you can overcome all markets and all weathers. And you have to be ready for all weathers and all terrains as a business owner. So go through your biggest cost positions, vendors, whatever your biggest cost positions are. How can you turn them into a profit sharing model so that you pay from the profits and you pay for outcomes, not for inputs?
Simon, and we can't thank you enough for being here today. Some great information you shared with our listeners. I truly appreciate you joining me here on the podcast.
Thank you, Gary, for having me. Keep rolling, everybody.
Now, I want to give you, I always talk about an action when we get done. I told you one action already. Go order the book. Go check out his website, strategysprints.com. But my second one is, I'm going to go back to the very beginning. There was a lot of great information. Number two, I would probably tell you, go ahead and re-listen to this podcast because there's some great things to take notes on. But I'm going to go back to allocating your time. Because as a CEO of your organization, I don't care if you're one person, you're still CEO of your company and stuff. Which things do you need to delegate? You may say, well, I'm the only person, I can't delegate. Well, then find you a virtual assistant to be able to take some of those things off your plate. Which one do you need to delegate? And if I wanted to live more fully and intentional, what do I need to do today? Ask yourself that question, not just today, but over the next week and then over this next month. And it's going to become clear to you what you've got to do. some great information that Simon gave us. So come back next week. We're going to have another great guest, but we really talked about multiple topics today in that 6P business owner formula. And what we're trying to do is help give you some solutions so your business can continue to grow and thrive. And to be quite honest, to give you that passion back that you had in your business maybe when you first started it. So make it a great day. We'll see you next week.
That's all the time we have for this week. To continue your journey, head over to smallbusinessanswerman.biz to access the tools and resources mentioned in today's show. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with someone who would benefit from listening. That's smallbusinessanswerman.biz. Until next time, remember, when you find the right solutions, your business grows and you get your time back.